Just days before Christmas, in 2022, chaos erupts in an apartment building in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh God, why did she do that?
Police find 32-year-old Alexandra Pennig dead on her bathroom floor from a close-range gunshot wound to the left temple. Her boyfriend, 44-year-old Matthew Ecker, says Pennig locked herself in the bathroom and pulled the trigger. But as police learn about Ecker and Pennig's relationship...
She is a girlfriend of mine. Oh my God, I'm married.
They begin to question Ecker's story.
So you guys are arguing at all when you got back?
No.
Although 2 medical examiners are unable to determine whether Pennig died by suicide or homicide, a jury finds Matthew Ecker guilty of second-degree murder. He's sentenced to 30 years in prison. For Pennig's parents, this is justice.
He killed her. It was proven, and I know it's true.
But just as strongly as Pennig's parents believe Ecker did it, Ecker's family believes he didn't.
I know my son, and he could never do this.
Through the course of this episode, you'll see cracks in the evidence we were provided, inconsistencies, and even what appear to be errors in police statements and records. You'll see false statements given to police that may have affected their investigation into Ecker. It may all call into question the very investigation that put Ecker behind bars. Let me be clear, this investigation is not about taking sides. It's to analyze the documents, videos, and facts we asked for from prosecutors and police and what they gave to us. At the end, you can decide what you think and how that shapes your view of Ecker's guilt, as decided by a jury, or as his family believes, his innocence. December 16th, 2022. It's the holidays, a peaceful, snowy night in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota. Surveillance cameras capture Alexandra Pennig and Matthew Ecker strolling down the street after leaving a bar. They go into Pennig's apartment building. Ecker opens the door for her and they stroll in. Everything appears calm. Less than an hour later.
911, what is the address of your
I got a girl who shot herself in the head.
Is she alive? Is
No,
she breathing?
No.
Okay, I'm going to get medical dispatch on the line. Just one moment.
Thank you.
What's your first name?
My name is Matt. She just shot herself in the head in the bathroom.
Okay. How long ago did this happen?
About 4 minutes ago.
All right, they're on the way. Do you know where the weapon is right now?
It's right on her chest. It's so sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why.
Police rush to the scene. Ecker lets them in at the building door. They race up the elevator. Ecker is bent over, hysterically crying. They race to Pennig's apartment. They enter her bathroom and find a gruesome scene. Pennig is lying in a pool of blood from her head. She has a single gunshot wound to her left temple. A pistol is resting on her left shoulder. Her left hand is on top of it. Pennig was right-handed. Officers try to maneuver around the space. It's a very small bathroom.
Let me get the gun. Look out. Move.
Officers take the gun and remove the bullets. In the hallway, officers are trying to calm Ecker.
Oh my God, why did she do it?
Keep breathing.
Officers ask Ecker what happened. He admits right away it was his gun.
It was my gun. In my backpack.
It was in your backpack?
Yeah.
How did she get it?
She just grabbed the backpack.
How did she know that you got a gun in the backpack?
Because I told her it was there.
Did you tell her today when you got here?
Yeah.
Did she make any threat before
Not-
that she was gonna kill herself? Herself?
She just grabbed it and put it to her head. She went into the bathroom and locked the door.
How did you get into this?
I broke it. I just slammed into the door after I heard the shot.
Were you guys arguing or something?
No.
Did she say anything?
we're friends.
Okay.
She is a girlfriend of mine. Oh my God, I'm married, and she has been. Oh, my girlfriend. I was just
Take your time.
for like 2 years, and I'm a terrible person for that.
Do you live by yourself or what's your family?
No, my wife and 4 kids.
Okay. Does she know that you have a relationship with?
No.
Okay.
Pennig and Ecker had met 2 years earlier. Pennig was getting her degree to be a registered nurse and met Ecker, a nurse practitioner, while working at the same hospital.
I know that our relationship wasn't what it should have been. I know it wasn't right. I loved her.
You guys are arguing at all when you got back?
No.
There had been a documented argument, though, earlier in the evening, not between Pennig and Ecker, but between Ecker and Pennig's boyfriend, Shane Anderson. Pennig and Anderson had been dating for a few months. Ecker knew about Anderson. It wasn't a secret. In fact, Ecker tells police that Pennig and Anderson had a volatile relationship, and just that morning, Pennig had called Ecker, saying that Anderson had just assaulted her. Pennig wrote to Ecker via text the morning of December 15th. "He just showed up at my house breaking, hit me in the face," she wrote. Ecker tells Pennig repeatedly to call the police and to take her apartment keys back from Anderson. Anderson later tells police he was at Pennig's apartment that morning, but that he didn't assault her. Ecker calls out from work and starts driving the 3 hours to St. Paul from where he lives in Fergus Falls, Minnesota.
I came here because her boyfriend came, and so I came here to help her feel safe. I had my gun in the backpack there because I was worried that her boyfriend would come. Yeah, and that was stupid. Oh my God.
Ecker admits to police that he and Pennig had been drinking all day, a lot. Pennig's autopsy showed she had a blood alcohol content of 0.22, nearly triple the legal limit. But law enforcement never performed a BAC on Ecker. Here you have Ecker telling police over and over they had been drinking all day. Why do they not run a BAC? I asked the St. Paul Police Department about that, but they said they can't respond because the case is under appeal.
So you guys went to 3 different bars.
Correct.
And what happened at one of those bars becomes a concern for police. At 12:32 a.m., only 2 hours before Pennig is shot, surveillance cameras capture Ecker and Pennig strolling into a bar. Ecker says Pennig knew Shane Anderson was going to be there, but he's there with another woman. Instead of sitting next to Ecker, Pennig walks around and sits on the opposite side of the bar, closer to Anderson. The woman Anderson's with leaves, and he strolls over to talk to Pennig. This is when things appear to become heated, at least according to Ecker. Ecker walks over and puts himself between them. Tensions escalate.
He punched me. I don't know what exactly happened, but I kind of remember coming to on the floor. They had pulled him off and kicked him out of the bar. And then her and I sat there and talked with other people for another 45 minutes. We came back here and I thought everything was fine. And then she just grabbed the gun and she loaded it. And I said, "What are you doing?" Like, stop.
Police continue to document the bloody scene in Pennig's bathroom.
See the blood on the toilet and the sink. Do you see the shell casing?
Casing's behind the door.
At the same time, they begin to zero in on Ecker. They're skeptical if his reaction is real. Officers are also trying to understand why it took Ecker 4 minutes to call 911.
It said that you waited a little bit to call police.
No, I looked at her, I ran back out, and I couldn't find my phone.
Did you touch her at all or move her?
I did, yeah, absolutely.
Where was she?
She was laying where she was.
No,
I tried to... All the thing, I just... the hole in her head, and she was trying to breathe.
She was trying to breathe and you were trying to stop the blood?
Yeah.
So how did you try to give first aid?
I'm an NP.
Okay.
Like, I understood that
Yep.
this was just done. She just, I tried what I could.
So, and I know that, and I just have to, because I got
Yeah,
a
'cause
medical examiner.
I get it. Like, I tried to do what I could.
Okay.
And then I washed my hands. And
Then you
I-
wash your hands,
Correct. That's why I don't have anything.
and then you,
The officer goes to the bathroom. The sink is bone dry.
why don't we have you come to headquarters?
You guys see.
Hundreds of miles away, Pennig's parents, Jim and Mary Jo Pennig, have zero idea their daughter is dead.
I had talked to Alex the night before. We were talking about me being stuck in South Dakota, and she was looking forward to coming out for Christmas, and she was talking about this new job that she had an opportunity. Totally took us by surprise when the sheriff showed up.
The Pennigs always worried about their daughter. Alex had struggled throughout her adult life with substance abuse. Court records from the state of Minnesota I found show that she had her license taken away twice for DWI. She also suffered from bipolar disorder, depression, and ADHD. She was on a host of psychiatric medications. She told Ecker in a text days before her death that only recently had she started taking her meds regularly. Years prior, in 2016, she swallowed a bunch of pills all at once.
And then immediately stuck her finger down her throat and threw them up. So it's not something I think she really wanted to do. We did call 911. They did pick her up, and they quickly released her from the hospital after she'd gone through, their evaluation. And she never did that again.
I can imagine it was difficult to see her through those difficult times of her life.
It was, yeah. It was very hard. I mean, Alex, I think it took us a long time to understand some of her challenges.
Alex always tried to get better, to be better.
Alex was a fighter. She was a survivor. She was full of life. She was beautiful inside and out. She was good to those who other people would step over. She would be that person that would pick somebody up on the street, that would cover them up with a blanket, go get them a hamburger. That was Alex. That was her soul.
She loved animals and people. Her dream was to be a registered nurse. She enrolled to get her degree, but had to pause her education to get herself back into recovery.
She was doing great, sober, had, celebrated complete sobriety from any alcohol, any drugs, had been sober for almost 2 years.
At Pennig's graduation for her licensed practice nursing degree, she spoke about her previous struggles.
During this time, I fought through the cruelty of mental health and substance abuse issues. With a painful past and fear of my future, the only thing that had kept me going to make a better life for myself were those inspirational words I would play over in my head at my hardest of times. You must be a nurse. After graduation, Pennig enrolled in a program to get her registered nursing degree. She moved to Fergus Falls, Minnesota, and met Ecker while working at a hospital. That's when Pennig's parents say their daughter changed.
I think her personality, she just got irritable and just, kind of distant.
She started drinking again. Pennig's parents say they didn't know it at the time, but after Ecker's arrest for her murder, they started to rethink things.
Her lifestyle had changed, 6-8 months into living up in Fergus Falls. It was not a good lifestyle. He was not supporting her, he was using her.
In the 2 years before her death, Pennig had trouble keeping a job. She fell into debt. In August 2022, 4 months before her death, police arrested her for DWI. She spent 2 weeks in jail, ended up pleading guilty, and had an interlock device put in her car. She was put on 2 years of probation. A week prior to her death, she lost another job. But in typical Alex fashion, she kept trying to get her life back on track. And only 12 hours before she was killed, she had an interview for a job at a children's hospital. Nothing could have prepared the Pennigs for that snowy day in December 2022 when a sheriff showed up at their house in Minnesota.
Forget exactly how she stated it, but I'm extremely sorry to inform you that your daughter Alex passed away last night. And I said, what happened? She said, well, we're still working through that.
One of the Pennigs' first phone calls after getting the news is to Matthew Ecker.
She talked about this person as a friend. I learned that he was married. And then once we confronted Alex, that he was separated from his wife. She kept saying he was just a friend, though.
So every now and then, Mary Jo Pennig would talk to Ecker about her daughter and see how she was doing. So when she gets the news, she calls Ecker thinking maybe he has more information. But Ecker is already in custody.
We had no idea, none, that he was involved, that he was even with her that night until we found out from the investigators.
And then they learn even more. Not only had their daughter and Ecker been romantically involved, but Ecker had been supporting Pennig financially for a year and a half. Between June of 2021 and December of 22, Ecker had given Pennig $28,000, mostly for rent, but he also had been buying her booze. He fell into major credit card debt and had maxed out 2 credit cards. They also learned that Ecker had been refilling Pennig's meds for depression and anxiety, even though he wasn't her doctor. The messages between Pennig and Ecker days before Pennig's death show the two communicating at length about refilling her various prescriptions.
In my basement, I have a huge bag of 8 months worth of meds that he prescribed her. And if you open up the pills, they're all there. She never took them.
At the same time the Pennigs are learning about Ecker's involvement in their daughter's death, Ecker's mother, Terry Randall, is as well.
I called the detective and I said, you have got to tell me what's going on. I need to know what happened. So the detective said, your son is charged with murder and it doesn't look good for him. I was absolutely shocked that he had been having an affair.
There's no possible way Matt would ever do this to anybody, ever. He has the softest, kindest heart that I know. Yes, he made a horrible choice with this affair, but there's no way he would harm anyone like that. His goal in life was to help people the best he can. And that is what he wanted for Alex, was to help her.
He couldn't just walk away from her because he cared about her.
Both Ecker and Pennig's families believe that at the time of Alex's death, Ecker and Pennig were no longer in a sexual relationship. They were friends, at least that's what the two told their families. Randall says her son told her that that night he had had a tough conversation with Pennig.
Matt had told her, I just can't keep supporting you financially. I want you to take one of these jobs, get on your feet, do better.
At the precinct, detectives with the St. Paul, Minnesota Police Department are trying to drill down Ecker's story.
Tell me about your guys' relationship, you and Alex.
It's been ongoing for about 2 years. I'm married, obviously, not to her. Our relationship is not something I'm proud of from that standpoint, but I care about her.
Okay.
I really do. I've been open with her, I've been honest with her. She has been open and honest with me. We understand our relationship. This is not, I know how this looks. I loved her, she loved me.
Detectives would later uncover texts Pennig had sent to Ecker in the days before her death. She tells Ecker she had been incommunicado the day before because she had to, quote, shut herself out from the world because she needed a mental health break. She writes to Ecker on December 14th, 2 days before her death, I am not very hopeful at the moment about life. Ecker responds, it will get better, Al.
I know that for the last 2 weeks she's been sad and upset, with shame, with work, with a lot of stuff. I know she's been upset.
Alex Pennig's autopsy shows that not only did she have a BAC 3 times the legal limit, but she also had high levels of Valium, Prozac, amphetamines for ADHD, and Trazodone for depression. The medical examiner said some of the levels were so high that they could be considered toxic or even fatal. While the state's medical examiner couldn't determine whether Pennig died by suicide or homicide, she testified at Ecker's trial that some of the circumstances were inconsistent with suicide. When pressed by Ecker's attorney about whether she was aware of the messages Pennig had sent Ecker in the days before her death about not being hopeful about life, the ME said she was not aware of them.
We all have points in our life where it's sad, and we're going to share that information. I mean, it's if she has somebody that she can talk to, and it's a release for her. And I think that's what she was doing.
So if people point to these text messages and they point to her life having a lot going on at this point, in your minds, it does not mean that she wanted to take her own life.
No, not at all. She had a lot to look forward to. She had another job offer. She was looking forward to taking on some new responsibility. She was involved in one of her friends that was up in Fergus Falls was getting married. She was excited about joining the wedding and participating in the wedding. I didn't sense anything that was the end. I've had it, I'm done.
Back in the police interview room, Matthew Ecker tells the detectives he should have left the gun in his car, but he was worried about Shane Anderson possibly coming to the apartment.
So, you say that she grabbed your gun out of your bag. How did she know that the gun was in your backpack? I'm sure you
She saw me take it out, took it out, put it in my backpack, and she saw that.
Okay. And where was the gun?
Tucked underneath my laptop.
Okay.
Once we started drinking it, obviously I should have just, like I said, I should have put it in the car.
Ecker admits to buying the booze and the heavy drinking that he and Pennig did on December 15th into the early morning hours of the 16th. Ecker tells police about the incident at the bar with Anderson.
And even after that, they kicked him out, and we sat for 45 minutes to an hour. And things were fine. We had a good time. We had a good time walking home. Things were great. We were laughing. She was happy. And good time going up into her apartment. And all of a sudden, I had no idea where it came from.
I guess I have a hard time believing things were good after you got knocked out by her ex-boyfriend.
I didn't get
Maybe you played it cool at the bar.
I stepped in between them, and then I was on the ground. And the bartender was like, "Hey, this one's on me." I had a drink. We sat there. I was fine with it. I don't have any. I'm not a big guy. I understand that when I get into it, it's also somebody a chance that I'm probably going to lose. I get it. I was standing up for her.
Detectives ask Ecker repeatedly if he and Pennig had fought that night.
You guys weren't arguing or anything? There's no fight with you two?
Not between us.
But police don't think Ecker is telling the truth. They would later uncover surveillance footage from the apartment building around 2:10 a.m., approximately 30 minutes before Pennig's death, which shows Ecker and Pennig back in the lobby after they had already gone up to Pennig's apartment. Randall says she has asked her son about every single thing that happened that night, including why he and Pennig went back downstairs.
He had to go out to his car to get his ear pods, and she said, "Well, I'm going to go down with you because I don't want you to be out there alone with this guy running around, She was afraid he might come back.
The video shows Ecker walking far in front of Pennig. This time, he lets the door almost close on her. She follows him into the cold night. Investigators don't think Ecker was going for his ear pods.
You didn't have to go for a little walk to cool down?
3 minutes go by. Pennig returns to the vestibule. She appears unsteady on her feet. She pulls out her phone and reads some messages. They appear to be social media messages. Her family says she looks agitated. 4 minutes later, Ecker returns. They exchange some words. He keys them in. Pennig opens the door. She uses her left hand, something Ecker's attorney points out during Ecker's trial. Pennig doesn't hold the door for Ecker and walks far in front of him through the lobby. Ecker shrugs his shoulders, hands out. Detectives believe the two were fighting.
We know our daughter. When you see her in that festival, she's mad. I know her mannerisms. So she was either angry that that fight happened or whatever.
There was a challenge of some
It was
sort.
a challenge of something.
Something else stands out to detectives. Ecker's clothes are spotless. Strange given the blood-soaked bathroom.
Matthew, what were you wearing tonight?
When that incident happened, I was wearing this.
Okay. What were you wearing earlier in the night?
I had this and a pair of jeans on.
Pair of jeans? Okay.
I had taken the jeans off and put shorts on.
Okay.
We were going to go to bed.
Bruce Rivers, Ecker's attorney at the time, says Ecker's impeccably clean clothes is proof that Pennig shot herself behind a closed door.
He didn't change his shirt, and he didn't have a drop of blood on him.
But police also question, how did Ecker stay so clean if he was manipulating Pennig's bloody head to try to help?
The gun was here-ish, and I grabbed the gun, I put it on my chest, and I was trying to, I don't know, like I said, I had medical training, and like just for some weird reason, I just was like trying to hold the blood in her head. That made no sense to me. I didn't know what else to do.
Did you try CPR on her?
Or? I didn't. I wanted to call 911 because honestly, doing CPR at that point was a little into the head. I don't know if that would have done her any good anyway. So once I realized that this had actually happened, calling 911 was primary. And that was when I got up. I don't know why I washed my hands. And then I went to try to find my phone. I couldn't find my phone. And that's when I grabbed her phone and called 911 back in the bathroom.
How were you able to call 911 on her phone? Do you have her passcode?
No, I don't. It's just the emergency. There's that emergency button.
Did you happen to wash the gun at all?
No.
Did you happen to clean up her hands or her at all?
No, I don't know why I washed my hands.
Police push back hard on Ecker.
You guys are all happy,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden you guys get there, and 5 minutes in, she goes in your backpack and grabs a gun.
Yeah.
And then you watch her do this.
Yeah.
And then she takes the gun out of your holster,
Yeah.
which I think it's a snap holster.
I mean, I was literally taking my jeans off and putting shorts on.
I thought you did that right away. You
Yeah,
said that you did
yeah,
that.
right
You
away. Yeah, I was doing that, and she.
Okay.
I mean.
Because right where your jeans are laying, your bag is right there.
She was
so
right there.
if she's going into your bag, you didn't snatch it or anything. You just.
I had no idea what she was doing.
Okay.
Like I said, this came so on fluid for me. I had no idea why she was doing what she was doing.
I don't know if you guys.
We didn't argue. We didn't argue. She pulled the gun and she was backing away, and I was asking her what she was doing, and she locked the door of the bathroom.
Were you trying to grab for the gun
No.
and it accidentally went on?
No, I did not. I did not. I mean, it went off when she was in the bathroom with the door shut. Hand to God, I will swear by that all day long. That door was shut. That gun went off when the door was shut.
But police believe the door was open. They point to Pennig's legs, which were straddling the door when they arrived, suggesting the door was ajar when she collapsed. They ask Ecker about that.
When you nudged the door.
I didn't hit her, that was the thing. I didn't hit her foot that I know of.
Okay.
I think she was back enough farther away. I mean, like I said, after I heard the gun go off, I hit the door pretty hard, so it's possible that I did hit her foot.
You know, I don't make anything out of the fact that the door was between her legs. That is 100% speculation. I tried to keep that out of the trial, and it just didn't make sense to me.
Why does it not make sense?
We demonstrated throughout the trial that there was plenty of room for her to be prone like she was.
But police theorized that the door was partially open and that as Ecker and Pennig struggled at the open door, Ecker reached his arm around and shot her in the left temple, causing her body to collapse and her legs to split perfectly between the door. That also protected him from any blood spatter. Rivers argued at trial that the state's medical examiner, though, didn't note any signs of struggle on Pennig's body. But detectives uncover a piece of evidence in the bathroom that they believe proves that Ecker broke down the door first and then shot Pennig. A small piece of metal from the door lock. It was found under Pennig's shoulder. Prosecutors say this proves that Ecker broke through the door, shot Pennig, and then she fell on top of the piece of metal. They point to how the top of the metal touching Pennig's body is bloody, while the other side closer to the floor is clean. Rivers says the metal piece could have ended up under Pennig after an officer, as you can see on the body cam, trips over her body while trying to check for a pulse. Or he says Ecker could have pushed it there inadvertently while he was trying to help Pennig.
You know, when he was manipulating her head, looking at the wound and stuff. So that easily could have happened.
Police asked Ecker about the damage they found throughout Pennig's apartment that suggests violence or a struggle.
There was damage to the closet door directly from the bathroom.
There's a broken light fixture.
That was from
Shane, it's the police, buddy. You're not in trouble. We're here about some of your friends.
Police go to Shane Anderson's apartment the morning of December 16th, only hours after Pennig's death.
So, one of your friends was injured last night.
Last night?
Yeah. And I'm thinking that you were with them last night.
Who?
I have a witness that says you were with Matt Ecker.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. And Alexandra? Do you know Alex Pennig?
I know who Alex is. That's I've been dating her.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Right now you're dating her?
I have been.
Oh, sure.
So, I don't know what...
See her last night, by chance?
I didn't. I didn't run into her last night, no. I don't know. I haven't been talking to her. Is she okay?
She's passed away.
No.
Yeah. That's why we need you to talk to the investigators.
Oh. Please,
it's very important.
I need to understand how.
And the best way to understand that is to go talk to the investigators. They have all the info. I don't want to
do it herself?
I don't want to give any information.
No, I need to know.
Yeah, and I think that would be best to get it straight from the investigators. I can't share all that. I don't have all the information. The investigators need to chat with you.
At the precinct, Anderson admits to police he punched Ecker in the face at the bar.
You said she shows up at the bar at camps with some guy, right?
Yeah.
Did they sit together?
They did.
They sat together.
Right away?
I believe so.
So is that why you didn't go up and talk to her right away?
I didn't go up and talk to her at all. I was just literally sitting there minding my own business, and the dude came up to me. And so I hit him.
So Anderson has just told several lies to police. He knows that Ecker and Pennig didn't sit together because when he went up to Pennig, she was alone. And we see on the video that he did go up to her, even though he tells police he didn't. It's unclear if police ever tried to clarify these statements with Anderson. Officers do ask him if he had seen Pennig at her apartment that morning. This time, he tells the truth. He says he did.
Did you take her keys yesterday at all?
No. She took her keys back. In the past week and a half, she has taken given me keys and then taken them back multiple times.
Okay.
She's been drinking a little too much lately, and she's not supposed to be drinking, she's on probation. And so she gets a little kind of crazy at when she drinks, and I didn't talk to her almost for most of the day, but then I don't have a phone right now because the phone was taken the night before, and so I was messaging her on Facebook, and so she was a little upset about that. She was like, don't talk to me, but she says that, she does that, but then I don't.
So did the argument that you guys had in that morning, did it get physical at all?
No, not at all. God.
So she inside of her apartment, there was a broken light fixture.
I don't know.
How about there's what appears to be someone taking a chair and slamming it down on the floor? Marks.
I don't know what that's from.
Not from you?
No. The door in the closet door, that was from a few weeks back. That was me. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't put my hands on her though.
The autopsy performed on Pennig found that she had extensive bruising throughout her body, her arms, legs, and her shoulder. The medical examiner testified at trial that the bruising could be consistent with a domestic violence dispute that morning. Anderson says he didn't assault Pennig. I asked him to sit down for an interview for this story, but he declined.
Please tell me what happened to her.
Cops got called there last night on a person reporting that she shot herself. Does she know much about guns?
She hates guns.
She hates guns.
Why do you say that?
She's said that to me before. Like, she doesn't even keep knives in her place. Like, she doesn't, like, she has scissors. I've literally had to cut pizza with scissors before.
At trial, Ecker's attorney showed jurors these pictures of Pennig. They weren't her guns. They belonged to a neighbor in her apartment building. That neighbor testified at trial that Pennig merely wanted to pose with the guns and didn't seem to have any experience handling them.
She
hated guns.
I don't have guns. We're not gun people. She had never fired a gun before. She knew nothing about them.
There's no way she shot herself. There's no way. She didn't do this.
I don't think so.
Detectives make their suspicions clear to Matthew Ecker. First, there's the obvious. Pennig was right-handed, but the gunshot was to her left temple.
She had it down here first, and then she cocked it. Her left hand cocked it, but she ended up holding it to her left temple. That's what I remember.
She left-handed.
She's not so it was weird.
Later gunshot residue, or a GSR test of Pennig's left hand, showed gunshot residue and that her DNA was all over the gun. Strangely though, Ecker's DNA was not found on his own gun. This discrepancy would become a big topic at Ecker's trial.
Did you maybe before you got up and washed your hands and went to grab a phone, maybe you grabbed her hand and put it back on the gun?
I know I was trying to move her around a little
Okay.
bit. It's possible that I moved her hand over there.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay. And her hand is completely clean. Her hand looks like my hands. There's no blood on her hand.
My recollection is that the gun was not in the blood.
Although Pennig's left hand may have looked clean to investigators, there was blood on it. The medical examiner noted in her report, writing Pennig's left hand had scanty, spattered blood. Police questioned Ecker on why there's no blood on the walls.
There's nothing on the walls.
But there were specks of bodily fluids, slight blowback on the mirror and the poster closest to the door. It's documented in the crime scene photos. Then there's the issue of the dry bathroom sink. Police challenge Ecker on whether he washed his hands.
There's
no blood in the hand of the sink.
And there's nothing in the sink. And the sink
I rinsed my hand.
The sink's dry. There's no water or anything.
No, I washed my hands in the sink.
But at the same time that police question why the sink is dry, they can't understand how Ecker doesn't have blood under his fingernails if he had been holding Pennig's bloody head.
So you have your head like this with her. You're going to get blood everywhere, correct?
I would think so.
They said that he washed his hands, washed off the GSR, and then later on in their story they said he didn't wash his hands because the sink was dry. So what is it? You can't have it both ways.
It's unclear if police ever took blood samples from the sink and the sink handle. One of the towels appears to be used, but it was never tested for blood.
It doesn't matter if you wash your hands or not, we still could perform these gunshot residue tests, so you're okay with us doing that on your hands? Yeah.
Before detectives leave the room to get the GSR test, they offer Ecker a different scenario, because in their minds, Ecker's account isn't adding up.
Did something happen in that apartment that you were protecting yourself because you have a wife and 4 children?
No.
And you didn't want her to shoot you with that gun? Or?
No. She never pointed the gun at me. Never. It was at her the whole time.
Police leave the room, but the camera keeps rolling.
Oh, this can't be real. Why did you do this, Alex? Why?
When police returned 40 minutes later, they're ready to pinpoint Ecker on his timeline.
But I'm trying to give you an opportunity to tell us what really happened there, because right now, I'm telling you right now, Matthew, like I said, the evidence clearly shows what you're saying is not what happened.
You guys get in an argument, and she knows where that gun is, so she pulls that gun. And she's pointing it at you because she's pissed because you're married. You have 4 kids. You're never leaving your wife. And she points this gun at you, and in self-defense, you guys are in the bathroom with this gun, and in self-defense, you grab the gun, and it accidentally goes off.
Oh my God, no. No. She locked.
Okay.
The evidence clearly shows what you're saying is not what happened.
I didn't do this. I didn't do this to her.
She didn't shoot herself. So now it's a matter of you.
Detectives tell Ecker they're gonna give him some time to think about his story. They have to get the DNA and gunshot residue tests anyway, which Ecker welcomes.
Yeah,
I just want you to really think about this whole picture.
15 minutes go by, and Ecker tells officers to come back in.
So, the change that I have, and I was scared. After this had happened, and I maintained that the shot went off behind the closed door. I was not in the bathroom when that went off. I will maintain that until the day I die. I did take the gun and I put it in my suitcase. I got scared for a second. I didn't know what was going on. I took the gun. I may have put it in the holster. I don't remember if I did or not. I put it in the suitcase, went back, looked at her, and said, yep. Went back to the suitcase, grabbed the gun, and put it back there. I don't know what my plan was there. I don't know what I was thinking. I got scared for a second, but that is what I did. I got scared.
But scared of what, I guess?
I don't know. Getting in trouble. Because I knew it was my gun.
Did you clean the gun off?
I did not clean the gun off.
But police aren't done with this line of questioning.
Then you grab her hand and you put your hand on the gun and then you wrap her hand around the gun.
I didn't wrap
To
her
me,
hand around the gun.
well, then maybe she
not
came alive for
purposefully.
2 seconds and put her hand around her own gun.
Not purposefully. I did not purposefully.
But isn't that kind of weird?
Psychotic.
That's weird that you would put her hand back on your firearm that she just used behind a closed door that you were standing on the other side of. What I think is exactly what you just said. You freaked out because the gun was there, but you freaked out for another reason too. Because either A, she tried to shoot you and it was self-defense and you grabbed that gun, you shot her right back.
Oh my
you guys
God,
got
no.
in a fight about
No.
something. This girl
I
loves
love
you.
her too.
So she deserves the truth.
I
her
love
family
her
deserves
too. I
the
know
truth.
they do. That is the truth. I got scared. That
I
gun
think you
went off
did get
behind
scared.
a closed door.
I think you did get scared, but I think you got scared for another reason before the cops showed up. I think you had to sit there for a little bit and decide, what the am I going to tell these cops? What am I going to say?
No.
Because earlier in the night, you just
Yeah.
got punched by her
I
ex-boyfriend
don't
at
give
a
a about that. I don't care about
But
that.
things were good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
That's why I
honestly
was
saying
here.
that things were good. You guys have been dating for 2 years and you have a wife and 4 children at home. Things weren't good,
Things were
Matthew.
fine.
Things weren't
were-
good. She wasn't happy with that. I mean, honestly. She was jealous,
We
I'm
had
sure.
an understanding.
Maybe you thought she was fine with it, but maybe deep down she was not fine with it.
Ecker has now told police countless times that he and Pennig did not fight that night. He told responding officers.
You guys are arguing at all when you got back? No.
And now the detectives.
We were never in an argument.
But yet in the statement of probable cause, the report that officers gave to a judge about why they think Ecker committed a crime and should be arrested, they write, quote, they got into an argument. They also write Ecker said he performed CPR. But Ecker told police several times he did not perform CPR.
No, I didn't do chest compressions. I didn't do CPR.
They also write that Ecker said Pennig, quote, grabbed his gun from his backpack, ran to the bathroom, and locked herself inside. He heard a gunshot while he was sitting on a couch in the living room, and he rushed to the bathroom. Ecker never told police that in the hours of video that we were provided. This is what he said.
And held it to her head. Started backing up towards the bathroom. I asked her what she was doing. She said, "Don't come closer. Just if you come any closer, I'm gonna pull the trigger." As she backed up towards her bathroom, I kind of followed her. And she then went in and shut the door and locked it.
Beyond the statement of probable cause, the medical examiner's report says Ecker told police he stuck his finger in Pennig's gunshot wound. Here's what Ecker told police.
I didn't put my finger in there. I literally just clamped my hand over it. And then I kind of turned her head to see if there was an exit wound.
I asked the St. Paul, Minnesota Police Department about these inconsistencies, but they referred me to the Ramsey County Attorney's Office. A spokesperson told me that because the case is still active under appeal, they can't comment.
We're not going to hold you up anymore. We're just going to do a GSR. It doesn't matter. You can wash it off. DNA, are you willing to give us a sample of her DNA? We'll do that too.
Police leave the room and come back with the tests. They do a DNA swab in his cheek. They do a gunshot residue test of his hands. Investigators take pictures of him, his clothes, his hands. Those GSR tests would later show Ecker had no gunshot residue on either of his hands. No GSR or blood were found on his clothes. Investigators then sit him down again. This time, they pull out pictures of his wife and kids.
I want you to think about the story that you're telling us, what happened. And I want you to remember that my partner's worked hundreds of these, right? You know, okay?
I didn't kill her.
Okay.
I didn't shoot her. Matthew, the story you're giving us right now, you're going to be looking at a first-degree murder as opposed to a manslaughter.
Oh, I didn't kill her. It was close. I love her.
I hope you don't love her more than them. Her.
I didn't do this. That door was closed.
You know that after we leave here, you're not going to have another chance to tell us your story, right? We're going to go with the story that you told us, which we can disprove, just so you know. So once we walk out of here...
There's no other story.
No, there is. The scene says a completely different story.
Then I have no idea what that story is. Because that
I
door
can tell you what the story is.
That door was shut.
That's not a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
That door was shut.
And everything that you said happened isn't even close to what the scene says.
You're asking me to confess to something I didn't do.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But remember, you told us you didn't have a story, and then you knocked on the door and we came back in and you told us about the gun.
That was a change. That was the only change. That's the only thing that I did. I was scared and that was stupid and I get it.
They're going to bring you over to the jail, okay?
Look at those pictures, Matthew. Think about it.
Matthew Ecker is escorted to jail. He's charged with second-degree murder. 2 weeks later, he posts $500,000 bond and is released.
I heard his story 50 plus times the first 3 months after this happened, because I spent every minute with him, pretty much for 3 months. He was suicidal. He was so upset. He just couldn't handle that she had done this to herself, but his story never changed.
In June 2023, 6 months after Pennig's death, Ecker's wife files for divorce and gets custody of their 4 children.
He had a family, he had a wife, and he had kids. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been doing what he was doing. He shouldn't have been with Alex. He shouldn't have been prescribing drugs. He shouldn't have brought a gun. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that he shouldn't have done. Now, was she totally innocent? No, we admit that. But still, she didn't deserve the ending that she got. And he gave her that ending.
In February 2024, Matthew Ecker goes on trial for the murder of Alexandra Pennig. Prosecutors jump on the 4 to 7 minute delay it took for him to call 911, which Ecker admitted. Then there's the controversies over the dry sink. the piece of metal from the door under Pennig, and if Ecker was really crying when officers responded. There's the fact that Ecker admitted he moved the gun from the bathroom, put it in his bag, and then placed it back on Pennig's chest.
It was all just very contrived.
Matthew Ecker's attorney tells the jury to look at the gunshot residue on Pennig's left hand. There's a ton of it. There's no GSR on Ecker's hands. The jury sees photos of Pennig's left hand. There's an injury on her thumb. There's a question about whether it's slide bite. That's a cut someone can get if they hold a gun improperly when they shoot. Ecker's attorney shows jurors one of the last pictures of Pennig alive from the vestibule. She uses her left hand to grab the door handle, and there doesn't appear to be an injury to her thumb. Both the prosecution and the defense agreed on that. But for the prosecution, the state's medical examiner later determined that the injury happened after Pennig was dead, and it's not slide bite. Ecker's attorney argues it is slide bite and proves that Pennig shot herself. What about the DNA? The jury sees evidence showing Pennig's DNA is the major contributor on the gun. It's found all over it: the trigger, grips, the slide, and the mag base. There also was DNA of another unknown person. The DNA was insufficient to prove who that person could be. Prosecutors jumped. How could Ecker's own DNA not be on his own gun? Ecker's attorney argued Ecker's DNA could be that other unknown person. There just wasn't enough of it to point to Ecker. And if Ecker had cleaned the gun, as prosecutors suspect, how did the DNA of two people remain on it? What about the holster? The jury learns there's a mixture of DNA from 5 individuals, 2 of them being Pennig and Ecker. Even with all that evidence, the state's medical examiner and the defense's ME tell the jury they cannot determine Pennig's manner of death.
They couldn't determine whether this was a homicide or a suicide.
But on the stand, the state's ME says there are circumstances of Pennig's death that make it, in her opinion, inconsistent with suicide. Namely, that Ecker had moved the gun and had had an affair with Pennig.
Obviously, having an affair is not great, but it isn't directly related to murder. Just because I had an affair doesn't mean he's a murderer. It doesn't go hand in hand. It isn't relevant to each other.
What do you make of the moving of the gun afterwards?
A guilty person wouldn't admit to that, in my opinion. He had a lapse of judgment and panic because it's his gun, which is understandable. And, was it the right move? Probably not, but he fessed up to it and said he did it. So if you were guilty, if you did it, you wouldn't admit to that.
Beyond the forensics, the defense tries to portray Ecker as someone who cared deeply about Alex Pennig and never would have harmed her. But prosecutors tell the jury Matthew Ecker was no knight in shining armor.
The alcohol that he had bought on the way down.
He knew that she had issues with alcohol and drugs.
Perhaps one of the most tense moments during the trial is when Jim Pennig, Alexandra Pennig's father, takes the stand. Ecker's attorney asked him about a report written by the sheriff that day when she told the Pennigs about their daughter's death. The sheriff wrote that Jim Pennig told her if his daughter was high or drunk, it could be possible that she killed herself, that she becomes incoherent when she's abusing her prescription drugs and drinking. When I asked Jim Pennig about this, he says he may have said that to the sheriff. He was upset, confused, and was in shock. But he maintains his daughter did not kill herself and that Ecker did.
I don't think he's responsible for her death.
You thought you were going to win this.
To the last minute before the verdict.
Because when the jurors came back in, one of them looked over at us with a really sad
kind of like
expression.
Almost sorry.
And I knew right then and there this wasn't going to go well.
On February 16, 2024, after only a few hours of deliberations, a jury finds Matthew Ecker guilty of second-degree murder with intent, not premeditated.
It was literally the worst moment of my life, probably.
Nausea, total disbelief.
Ecker appeals his case to the Minnesota Court of Appeals. His appeal attorney argues Ecker should get a new trial because the evidence is insufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Ecker killed Pennig. In April 2025, a 3-judge panel unanimously denies Ecker's appeal. They say while they acknowledge the unusual circumstances of an undetermined manner of death in a homicide case means the manner of death is homicide. They, number one, defer to the jury on their decision, and number two, they believe the evidence is sufficient to prove Ecker's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
Just so frustrating to watch everybody gloss over the facts and hard evidence.
Ecker's case, though, isn't over. The Minnesota Supreme Court has agreed to review it. His fate now rests with the decision in another high-profile Minnesota case, also out of St. Paul, the case against Nicholas Firkus, a story we've previously featured here on Law&Crime Investigates. In April 2010, Heidi Firkus, Firkus's wife, was shot and killed in her home. Nicholas Firkus called 911 and claimed an intruder shot her. After an 11-year investigation, Firkus was charged and convicted in his wife's murder. Prosecutors argued Firkus shot Heidi because he had kept his severe financial troubles a secret from her and that he staged the home invasion to cover it up. Firkus appealed, arguing that Minnesota law requires circumstantial evidence to rule out every other explanation except that the person is guilty. In other words, if the circumstantial evidence in Ecker's case couldn't eliminate the possibility that Pennig took her own life, then the jury shouldn't have been allowed to conclude that Ecker was the only possible culprit. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled in July of 2025 that it will take a look at Ecker's case, but only after they rule on Firkus.
I am so glad the Supreme Court's looking at it because I'm hoping they're going to open their eyes and see the facts.
It's a little bit frustrating in that jurors found her guilty, judge agreed, state of Minnesota appellate agreed with the verdict, and now it's up again for review. It's very hard for us, it's very hard to accept that.
In the meantime, Ecker remains behind bars in Minnesota State Prison in St. Cloud. It's a true nightmare for both families.
You wake up and for 1 second you think life is normal, and then you remember what we're going through and what he's going through, and it truly is, like, I feel like like Amy had said too, she's like, I just kind of feel like a shell of myself. I don't, it's hard to enjoy things and be happy knowing that he's sitting somewhere that he shouldn't be.
I don't wish bad on anybody, but based on the evidence, based on what in my heart I know happened, he needs to serve out a sentence for what he did.
But there's one piece of evidence outstanding that everyone wants to see: the social media messages on Pennig's phone that night. The messages she's reading as she's standing in the vestibule only minutes before her death. Messages that appear to bother her, to everyone who knows her. Who was she talking to? What did the messages say? No one has been able to get into her phone. It's locked, and no one knows the passcode. I asked the St. Paul, Minnesota Police Department if they filed a warrant to get into her phone because they still have her phone. But again, they say they cannot respond because the case is under appeal. Are you curious what's on her phone?
At the very end, we were curious because we could tell from the video of the shots they had of her going into the apartment at the end of the evening with Ecker that there was a battle, there was issues, there was challenges.
We gave those investigators as many combinations as we could think of.
For a password to try to get in, and they still couldn't do it.
There is someone who could have a clue about those messages: Shane Anderson. Remember, he told police he was talking with Pennig that night on Facebook Messenger from a computer because his phone had been stolen the night before. When I asked Anderson if he'd be willing to share screenshots with me of the messages he was exchanging with Pennig that night, he said the messages don't exist.
They were on Facebook Messenger. And we are going to get those texts. We are going to open her phone eventually. This is not over. It'll never be over until he's out.
At the end of the day, if this doesn't go our way and he gets out of prison, the only way we can look at it is from a faith, is that he's got to stand up in front of his maker someday too.
Alex was a good person. She had a very kind heart.
She had a sweet soul.
She's in a better place. She's at
Till we
peace,
get
and
through
we
the
hope
day.
to see her again someday. So.
While reviewing Pennig's autopsy, there was something that caught my attention. Beyond the bullet wound, her bruises, and the injury on her left thumb, it was her tattoos. Alexandra Pennig had tattoos all over her body, and they say a lot about who she was. She had pictures of a flower, mountains, and a stethoscope spelling nurse. She had a picture of a cross and a grumpy cat. She also had a few sayings. One was, "Pain shapes a woman into a warrior." And on her left shoulder, "Be brave, my darling. You have faced dark times before, and you're still here now." For both the Pennig and Ecker families, times are still dark, but they're both still here fighting for what they believe happened to Alexandra Pennig. For Law&Crime Investigates, I'm Kristin Thorne.